Have you ever felt completely erased? Like you vanished, not into thin air, but into the very home you helped create, paid for, and tirelessly nurtured? My name is Eleanor Vance, and I'm 68 years old. Most folks my age imagine peaceful evenings, knitting in a rocking chair, surrounded by the laughter of grandchildren. That was my dream, once upon a time. But life, as I've learned, often holds a much darker reality, especially when you find yourself living under the same roof as a daughter-in-law who sees you as nothing but a burden. What I'm about to tell you will challenge everything you thought you knew about family. It all started 3 years ago, when my dear husband, Arthur, passed away from a heart attack. 43 beautiful years together. And then, just like that, I was alone in our big, empty house on Oak Street. Every single corner, every shadow, screamed his name. His worn armchair in the living room, his precious collection of old vinyl records in the study, even the tools in the garage, hung neatly on the walls. Arthur was always a man of order. "Trains don't forgive tardiness, Ellie," he'd always say. In our marriage, he was the steady hand, the one who kept everything running smoothly, while I was the one who made our house a home. After he was gone, our cozy nest became a silent museum, and I wandered through it like a ghost, stumbling over memories. The silence was deafening. I tried to fill it with TV, radio, even started chatting with my houseplants, just to hear a voice. My son, Ethan, would visit once a week, usually on Sundays, but his visits were brief and awkward. We'd never been super close, and our relationship still felt stuck in his teenage years, where everything I said sounded like a lecture. Maybe that's why, one Sunday lunch, when Ethan suggested I sell the house and move in with them, I agreed almost without thinking. It seemed like the perfect solution back then. I'd help them with the down payment on a new, bigger house, one with enough room for me. And in return, I'd get what I feared losing most, a family. Oh, how utterly naive I was. "You don't want to live alone, Mom," Ethan said, his hand gently covering mine. "Besides, Sophia will be thrilled to have her grandma around every day." Sophia is my granddaughter. She's 16 now. When she was 13, she was genuinely excited about me moving in. We used to be inseparable. I taught her how to bake my famous chocolate chip cookies, told her stories about how I met her grandfather at a summer dance in 1978. She'd sit on the floor at my feet, braiding colorful bracelets from the threads I bought her, lost in my tales. But 3 years ago, I didn't know Olivia as well as I do now. Olivia Holloway, my son's wife, was all smiles and friendliness during holidays and Sunday visits. "Eleanor, you look amazing." "Eleanor, this pie is divine." "Eleanor, we are so happy to see you." Now I see that her smiles never quite reached her eyes, and her compliments sounded practiced, mechanical. We sold the house fast. Real estate in Willow Creek was booming. I made a good sum, most of which went straight into their new place on Maple Drive. It was a big, 2-story house with a basement and a yard where Ethan planned a barbecue area. "I made sure you got a room on the first floor, right next to the kitchen, so it's comfortable for you, Mom," he promised. The first few months were smooth. I helped cook, occasionally picked Sophia up from school if Olivia was running late from her small clothing boutique. Olivia always talked about it like it was a high-end fashion empire, not just a little shop. Ethan works in tech, managing data. Tedious, but stable, he calls it. Little did I know, this seemingly perfect arrangement was a trap slowly closing around me. About 6 months after I moved in, things started to shift. Small changes at first. Olivia would forget to call me to the table when they had guests, or she'd make pointed comments about my clothes. "Eleanor, that sweater makes you look ancient." Or, "Eleanor, that color clashes terribly with your skin tone." Then came the bolder moves. My cherished cookbooks suddenly found themselves boxed up in the garage, taking up too much kitchen space. My little collection of porcelain figurines, a gift from Arthur, vanished from the mantelpiece, relegated to the top shelf of my closet because they don't fit the new living room design. By the end of our first year, I felt like a ghost in my own home. Ethan was always glued to his phone or at work. Sophia spent more and more time with friends or locked in her room. And Olivia? She became my constant supervisor. Eleanor, you left your cup in the sink again. Eleanor, please don't touch the thermostat. The electric bill is outrageous as it is. Eleanor, we agreed you wouldn't use the washing machine on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are my days. I tried to talk to Ethan, but he'd just wave me off. Mom, you're overreacting. Olivia just likes things orderly. You need to adjust to the new rules. Those new rules multiplied every month. No TV after 9 p.m. because it interfered with Sophia's studying. I couldn't invite my few girlfriends over because the house isn't a senior gathering spot. I couldn't cook anything more complex than a sandwich because the smell of fried food clings to the curtains. My life slowly shrank, confined to my room, where I'd retreat more and more to escape Olivia's sharp remarks. I felt like a tolerated guest, not a family member whose money had made this house possible. The cruelest blow was Sophia's growing distance. Olivia expertly poisoned our bond, exploiting a teenager's need to fit in. Your grandmother is so old-fashioned. Look at her weird habits. You don't want to be a nerd like her, do you? I'd hear these whispers as I passed Sophia's room, watching my granddaughter avoid my gaze, shying away from being alone with me. I was heartbroken, but I had no idea how much worse it could get. I turned 68 this year. I didn't expect much. Maybe a modest family dinner, or a card from Sophia like in years past. But on my birthday morning, no one remembered. Ethan mumbled a quick goodbye on his way to work, past me in the kitchen. Sophia dashed off to school without breakfast. Olivia stood in the hallway mirror, carefully applying another layer of lipstick. Eleanor, she said, not turning, we're having guests tonight. Nothing fancy, just a few friends. It would be nice if you made your famous peach cobbler. Everyone always raves about it. It almost sounded like a compliment, and a flicker of warmth sparked in my chest. Maybe they had remembered. Maybe this was their surprise. Of course, Olivia, I replied. I'll bake a cobbler. I spent all day in the kitchen, preparing not just the cobbler, but other dishes I knew Ethan and Sophia loved. By 5 o'clock, the house was filled with the sweet scents of vanilla, cinnamon, and stew. I even put on my blue dress, the one Arthur always said made me look elegant. For once, I felt needed. Important. Olivia came home around 6 o'clock, arms loaded with grocery bags. Oh, you've cooked already, she said, barely glancing at the table. But I bought ready meals from the deli. Everyone loves their canapés and salads. My heart sank, but I forced a smile. That's okay, I said. More food isn't a problem. Olivia's lips pressed into a thin line as she eyed my dress. Are you going to sit at the table like that? What's wrong with it? I asked, confused. It's very formal for a home dinner, don't you think? She shook her head. Anyway, before guests arrive, could you check the basement heater? Brenda's always cold, and we want to show off Ethan's wine cellar. The wine cellar was Ethan's pride, a small basement room with a dozen cheap supermarket wines. But he loved showing it off, talking about bouquets and tannins like a connoisseur. Okay, I agreed, heading for the basement door. The stairs were steep and dimly lit. I went down carefully, clinging to the railing. It was cool and damp down there. I found the space heater and turned it on. Suddenly, I heard the door creak open, then Olivia's footsteps. Eleanor, she called. Did you find the heater? Yes, it's working, I replied, climbing a few steps. But before I could get higher, the door slammed shut with a deafening bang. I heard the distinct click of a lock. Olivia, I called, rushing to the door. Olivia, the door slammed shut. I know, Eleanor, came her voice from the other side. There was no hint of concern. It's exactly as it was meant to be. What? I couldn't believe my ears. Open the door, please. I'm afraid not, Olivia said, her tone the one you use to explain obvious things to small children. We have important guests tonight, and frankly, you'd spoil everything with your presence. Always interrupting, telling your endless stories about dear Arthur. It's tiresome, Eleanor. I stood there, numb with shock and humiliation. But it's my birthday, I whispered. Silence. Then, a slight chuckle. Oh, so that's why you're dressed up, Olivia said. The party isn't for you, Eleanor. We just wanted to get some friends together, and your birthday is, well, let's just say it's not a very important occasion. Tears welled up, but I swallowed them back. I wouldn't cry in front of her, even if she couldn't see me. When are you going to let me out? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. When the guests have left, Olivia replied. Don't worry, you won't starve to death in one night. There's a heater, so you won't get cold. Just sit quietly and don't even try to knock or yell. The music will be loud enough to drown out any noise. By the way, I told everyone you've gone to a friend's house for the weekend, so no one will be looking for you. Her footsteps faded away. I was alone in the semi-darkness, lit only by a dim bulb and the heater's orange glow. Rage, resentment, and utter helplessness washed over me. How could she? How could my own son allow this? Was I truly so insignificant? I sank into an old chair by the wine cabinet, my hands shaking from anger or fear, I couldn't tell. Then, a vibration in my dress pocket, my cell phone. I'd completely forgotten it. The small, old smartphone Ethan gave me when he upgraded. You don't need more than that, Mom. Just for emergency calls. It wasn't just a phone. It was my lifeline to the outside world. And a way to find out what was happening upstairs in my own home while I was hidden away like an unwanted item. Holding the phone, a strange calmness settled over me. This moment, trapped and betrayed, was the start of my fight. A little over a month ago, I'd installed security cameras in the house. Small, almost invisible devices, easily hidden on a bookshelf or behind a picture. I didn't do it out of paranoia, but because things kept vanishing. First, Arthur's pearl earrings, his 30th wedding anniversary gift. I'd left them in my jewelry box. When I asked Olivia, she'd widened her eyes and said, Eleanor, you probably just forgot. That's normal at your age. Then my mother's brooch disappeared. Then a bottle of expensive perfume I'd saved. A little porcelain ballerina from my bedside table. Each time, Olivia and Ethan gave the same explanation. You forgot. I moved it. It was your fault. But the last straw was my diary. I'd kept it since I was 17, a thick, leather-bound notebook filled with my thoughts, fears, joys, pasted with dried flowers and old tickets. It was my story. One morning, it was gone from its drawer. I tore my room apart, then the whole house, as far as I was allowed. Nothing. When I tearfully told Ethan, he just shrugged. Mom, it's just an old notebook. Maybe you accidentally threw it away. But I would never throw away my journal. Never. That's when I decided. My old friend, Esther, from the gardening club, helped me buy miniature security cameras. Her son owns an electronics store. Do you have a smartphone, Ellie? She'd asked. Then you can look at the footage anytime. Esther helped me set up the app and activate the cameras to record motion and send notifications. We placed 3, one in my room, one in the living room, and one in the kitchen. I didn't tell my family. I had a gut feeling that if they knew, the cameras would accidentally break or disappear. Now, locked in the basement, I thanked fate for my foresight. I opened the app. The screen split, showing all 3 camera feeds. The living room was already full of people, about 15 guests, mostly Olivia's friends and Ethan's coworkers. My cobbler sat untouched. The music was loud, but I could make out snippets of conversation. Where's your mother-in-law? A redhead asked Olivia. Eleanor? Oh, she's at a friend's house, thank God. It's such a treat to have an evening without her endless stories about dear Arthur. They laughed, and my cheeks burned. In the kitchen, Ethan opened wine. Our neighbor, Brenda, my age, approached him. Ethan, where's Eleanor? I brought her a gift. My son froze. Oh, she's visiting a friend in Willow Creek. Mom's been so outgoing lately. He grinned, as if it was a hilarious joke. Brenda looked disappointed. It's strange she left on her birthday, I thought. Birthday? Ethan's face paled. Oh, right. Yes, we celebrated last weekend. Small family dinner, just how she likes it. Lies. Pure lies. They'd been at the coast, leaving me with Sophia, who was mostly at her friend's house anyway. Brenda nodded, but her eyes showed she didn't believe him. Give her this when she gets back, she said, offering lavender tea. Eleanor mentioned once she loved it. My eyes welled up. A stranger remembered my preferences and my birthday better than my own family. But the real shock was yet to come. I swiped the screen, watching Sophia in the corner, bored on her phone. My attention snagged on a new guest, a tall, lean man with slicked-back dark hair and sharp features, wearing an expensive suit. Drake Campbell, my financial advisor. He came quarterly with reports full of numbers that meant little to me, always reassuring me my investments were in good shape. Seeing him here made me uneasy. Olivia greeted Drake with excessive enthusiasm, pecking his cheek. But it was the intimate glances they exchanged when they thought no one saw that chilled me. I switched to the kitchen camera. They stood too close by the fridge. You're late, Olivia said, playful. Meeting ran late, Drake replied, looking over his shoulder. Where is she? Don't worry, the old woman's locked in the basement. Thinks it's for the party. Olivia grinned. She has no idea Ethan agreed to send her to Pine Haven next month. Pine Haven? A nursing home. They were sending me away without my knowledge or consent. Is everything ready? Drake asked. Paperwork? Power of attorney? Ethan will handle it next week, Olivia said. The lawyer already prepped it. The old woman won't know what she's signing. We'll say it's an insurance renewal. And if she says no? Olivia shrugged. Then plan B. You've seen how absent-minded she is? Forgets the stove, locks herself in the bathroom. She winked. A couple more incidents, and any judge will deem her incompetent. A chill ran down my spine. I never forgot the stove, never locked myself in the bathroom. Were those incidents staged? Had they gone that far? Are you sure Ethan's fully on board? Drake whispered. He's a weakling, Olivia dismissed. Of course he has doubts. She's his mother. But he wants the house unencumbered, and most of all, the money. Didn't you say there's $150,000 left, plus her pension? Drake nodded. Enough for Pine Haven for years, with money left for renovations and maybe a new car. A new car for Olivia, from my life savings, while I rotted in a nursing home. Pure, undiluted rage boiled within me. How dare they? How dare my own son participate? Sophia entered the kitchen. Sophia, darling, what are you doing? Olivia asked. Soda, Sophia mumbled. Drinks are in the living room, Olivia instructed. Only wine and nasty mineral water, Sophia retorted. I want a Coke. Sophia, we don't let her have it, Drake interrupted, strangely gentle. Isn't that what parties are for? For everyone to get what they want. He winked at Sophia, who flinched before grabbing a Coke and leaving. A new unease settled in. The way Drake looked at Sophia was unsettling, predatory. I switched to the living room. Ethan was talking to a coworker. Your mother still lives with you? The coworker asked. Ethan sighed. For now, yes. But we're considering a nursing home. Better care, socialization. Is she okay with that? Not really, Ethan grimaced. But she doesn't have much choice. Her money's mostly in this house, and it's not in her name. It's legally ours. Olivia found a nice place. Doesn't sound cheap, the coworker said. She has a pension and savings, Ethan continued. And like Olivia said, she's done enough for us. It's our turn to decide what's best for her. My turn? After all I'd given? After selling Arthur's and my home, leaving myself with barely anything, the fear was paralyzing. If they declared me incompetent, I'd have no rights. They'd control everything. I switched to the kitchen. Olivia was talking to her blonde friend. If all goes to plan, we'll have the house to ourselves by summer, Olivia said. I'll turn that awful room next to the kitchen into the spa area I've always wanted. Will Eleanor be okay with a nursing home? The blonde worried. Who cares? Olivia snorted. At her age, she should be used to younger people making decisions. Last week, she washed Sophia's silk blouse in the machine, $600 down the drain. She's not herself, Olivia continued. Ethan found her in the kitchen at 3 a.m. She said she was getting water, but I'm sure she was trying to set the house on fire. A blatant lie. I was thirsty, but Ethan was asleep. Sounds dangerous, the blonde said. Drake walked in. The blonde quickly left. Your husband's becoming a problem, Drake said. He's hesitating about Pine Haven. Olivia rolled her eyes. He's always like that. Don't worry, I'll handle him. Not much time, Drake warned. The longer she's here, the greater the risk, especially with the transactions. Transactions? She won't suspect, Olivia scoffed. The old woman barely knows how to use a phone, much less check her balance online. She underestimated me. What about the power of attorney? Has she signed it? Not yet, Olivia admitted. Ethan promised to get it done next week. He'll say it's an insurance update. She always signs for him. My teeth clenched. I'd trusted Ethan with my finances, signed what he gave me without reading. Now I knew better. What if she refuses? Drake pressed. Then it's back to the absent-minded and dangerous plan. Olivia lowered her voice. No one will believe an old woman who forgets to turn off the gas or tries to leave in her nightgown. It might take time. We have time. The money isn't going anywhere yet. Olivia smiled, placing her hand on Drake's shoulder. You've taken care of it, haven't you? Still under your control. Drake nodded, but a flicker of worry crossed his eyes. Of course. I just don't like waiting when everything could have been ours. Ours? Not yours, but ours? Does Drake have a claim on my money too? And what did he mean, under his control? My savings should be in my personal accounts. I switched to the living room camera. Ethan was talking to Drake, looking a bit drunk. Look, Drake, I think we should find a better place than Pine Haven, he slurred. Mom deserves better. She gave us almost all the money from the house sale. Drake put a hand on his shoulder. Of course, my friend. But the best places cost a lot more, and your mother's finances, as we discussed, won't allow for that. The $150,000 will run out quickly, especially with a higher level of service. 2, 3 years, and then what? You'd pay out of your pocket. You have a family, a daughter heading to college. Ethan frowned, torn. I just want her to be happy. She'll be happy, Drake assured him. Pine Haven is great. Garden activities, nurses around the clock. Best for her, given the circumstances. My son nodded, his resistance fading. I wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him see he was a pawn in their game, that this smooth advisor and his own wife were manipulating him for my money. But I could only watch, trapped. I switched to the kitchen. Olivia and Drake were alone again. He's hesitant, Drake said. But I think I've convinced him. Reminded him about Sophia's college money. Good for you, Olivia smiled, moving closer. I always knew I could count on you. What else can you count on? Drake asked with a meaningful smile. I turned away, sickened. My heart pounded with fear and rage. They planned to take everything, my money, my freedom, my family, using my own son to do it, playing on his guilt and ambition. But now I knew. And knowledge is power, as Arthur always said. I wouldn't go down without a fight. This story was far from over. I wasn't going to let them turn me into a helpless victim. I had proof of their schemes. I had the phone, and I had a daughter who worked for Social Security, specializing in cases just like mine. I picked up the phone, found Talia's number, the one she'd left in her last letter. My fingers trembled as I dialed. What would I say after 7 years of silence? Would she believe me, or think I was just a senile old woman imagining conspiracies? I had no choice. I had to risk it. Taking a deep breath, I pressed call. One beep, two, three. Maybe she'd changed her number. Maybe she was at work. On the fifth beep, just as I was about to hang up, there was a click. A voice I hadn't heard in 7 long years. Hello. Talia sounded weary, not recognizing the number. Talia? My voice trembled. It's Mom. Silence. So deep I thought the call dropped. Then, a ragged sigh. Mom? Her voice was a mix of disbelief, hope, and fear. Is it really you? Yes, dear, I said, unable to hold back tears. It's me, and I need your help. Talia's voice shook. Mom, I've been writing to you for years. I called you. I thought you didn't want to talk to me. I know, darling, I interrupted. I just found your letters. All of them. They were forwarded to spam. I never saw them until today. What? But how? Silence again. Olivia? That's her, right? A bitter laugh escaped me. Yes, Olivia. And it's much worse than you can imagine. I told her everything, how I was slowly becoming a prisoner, about the missing things, the cameras, being locked in the basement on my birthday, the overheard conversations between Olivia and Drake, the financial fraud, their plans to send me to a nursing home and sell my house. Talia listened, only occasionally exhaling in indignation. When I finished, a pause. Mom, she finally said, her voice firm and professional, what you're describing is a classic case of financial abuse of an elderly person. And the psychological abuse and unlawful restraint. It's a crime, and we can hold them accountable. Do you believe me? I asked, still scared. Of course I believe you, Talia said without hesitation. In my job, I see cases like this weekly. Close relatives are often the abusers. And what you're describing is too detailed, too consistent for fiction. Besides, her voice softened. I always knew you wouldn't have stopped communicating willingly. Deep down, I felt something was wrong. Tears of relief streamed down my face. My daughter believed me. My daughter was on my side. What do we do? I asked, wiping my tears. First, we document everything, Talia said firmly. Keep recording what happens on the cameras, especially if Olivia and Drake discuss their plans again. I nodded. Okay, what else? Forward me those letters from Drake and the bank statements. I need copies of all evidence, in case they try to delete info from your phone. I'm not sure how, I admitted. That's okay, Talia said. I'll explain step by step. She patiently guided me through forwarding emails and screenshots. Now, I need to call the police, she continued. What they've done is unlawful imprisonment, a serious offense. But before I do that, are you safe now? They can't just come into the basement. I looked at the heavy door, locked from the outside. The party was still loud. No one's coming down here soon. All right, Ellie, she said. Listen carefully. I'm calling the Willow Creek police right now. I'll explain the situation and have them come to your house. Then I'm contacting a lawyer specializing in elder protection. He works with us at Social Security and can quickly file a temporary restraining order prohibiting Ethan, Olivia, and Drake from handling your finances. But the police. I began, afraid. What if Ethan and Olivia convince them I'm senile, that it's my imagination? You have proof, Mom, Talia reminded me. Cameras, recordings, forged signatures, illegal transfers. Besides, her voice hardened, I'm a social services inspector. They'll listen to me. I took a deep breath. And then what? After the police. You'll come with me, Talia said without hesitation. We have a guest room ready for you. It's always been ready, just in case you visited. Her voice softened, and a pang of guilt hit me for the lost years. Talia, I started, but she cut me off. Not now, Mom. We'll talk later. Right now, the important thing is getting you out safely. She paused. One more thing. There's a man who really wants to meet you. Arthur, I whispered. My grandson? Yes, Talia smiled. Little Arthur. He knows all about you. I've shown him pictures, told him stories. He asks about you almost every day. New tears came, not of sadness, but of hope. A grandson I'd never met, named after my late husband, growing up knowing about me because his mother never gave up. I can't wait to meet him, I said, barely coping. Neither can he, Talia replied. Now, back to the plan. I call police, then lawyer, then I drive. About an hour from Willow Creek to Pomona. While I'm on my way, keep collecting evidence. If anything changes, if Olivia or anyone comes down, call me immediately. Okay, I agreed. But Talia, be careful. I don't know how they'll react. Don't worry about us, Mom. Worry about yourself. Keep holding the phone. I'll call you as soon as I'm done. We said goodbye. I felt strangely calm. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't alone. I had a daughter who believed me, willing to fight. I had a plan. The battle was about to begin. I returned to the camera app. The party raged on. Music blared. Guests laughed. Olivia, glowing in her red dress, floated through the crowd. Ethan stood tense with Drake. I turned up the volume, straining to hear their conversation. I'm not sure Pine Haven is the best option, Ethan said. Reviews mention staff and conditions. Drake put a hand on his shoulder. Ethan, you're overthinking this. Pine Haven balances price and quality. Better places cost double, triple. Given what we've invested of your mother's money, we must be practical. Ethan frowned. I know, but it's my mother. She deserves better. Of course, Drake falsely agreed. She'll get the best on a budget. Once the house sells, you can move her. What about that paper she has to sign? Ethan whispered. Legal. Drake grinned. Technically, yes. Standard power of attorney, expanded powers. Gives you all financial and medical decisions for her. Legal, if she signs voluntarily and sane. If she refuses, then it's the longer route through courts with medical reports of incapacitation. Months. Easier if she signs. They moved away, voices lost. I switched to the kitchen. Olivia spoke to the blonde friend. If all goes to plan, we'll have the house by summer, Olivia said, filling glasses. I've picked a designer. I'll remodel the first floor, open the kitchen and dining room. Mother-in-law's room? The blonde asked. My personal spa. Olivia grinned. Jacuzzi, sauna, massage table, my dream. Is Ethan sure about a nursing home? He seemed caring. Olivia snorted. Ethan's a wimp. He has his filial love bouts, but he always does what I say, especially with money. She lowered her voice. Plus, I reminded him if we sell the house, he can buy that boat he's been dreaming of. Men are so predictable. The blonde laughed awkwardly. Still, locking her in the basement, wasn't that much? Olivia shrugged. Oh, come on. She was safe. Besides, it was the only way to have a proper party without her endless stories and wailing. Remember last time? 2 hours about meeting her dead husband. I nearly died of boredom. They left. I fumed. My story of meeting Arthur was a cherished memory. How we met at an amusement park dance in 1978, how he invited me on the carousel, how we talked until dawn by the lake. To Olivia, it was boring. To me, a treasure. My phone vibrated. Talia. Mom, police contacted, she said without preamble. Patrols coming to your house. 20 minutes. I talked to the lawyer, Adam Miller. He's filing an emergency restraining order for your finances. Temporary, but it buys us time. Thank you, darling, I choked, gratitude overwhelming me. You're so quick. It's my job, Mom, she smiled. I'm in the car on my way. Stay in touch, keep recording. When police arrive, they'll call me, and I'll explain. We said goodbye. I went back to the cameras. Guests were leaving. The party winding down. Drake whispered something to Olivia. She frowned, nodded. They went upstairs. No cameras there. I could only guess. The thought of Olivia cheating on my son with his friend intensified my disgust. Ethan saw off the last guests, his movements clumsy. Brenda lingered. Lovely party, Ethan, she said. But I'm upset I couldn't wish your mother happy birthday. Ethan looked embarrassed. Sorry. I'll give her your present. Please, Brenda nodded. Tell her I'm always glad when she stops by for tea. She seems withdrawn. I'm worried. Nothing's wrong, Ethan said too quickly. Just age, more withdrawn, less social. Brenda looked at him, but didn't press. After she left, Ethan sighed, slumping onto the sofa, head back. Tired, guilty. Maybe he still loved his mother. Maybe not all was lost. That hope died fast as he pulled out his phone, smiling, browse yacht club websites. I switched to the hallway camera. Sophia came downstairs in her pajamas, hair in a messy bun. She tiptoed past her father, heading for the kitchen. I followed via the kitchen camera. Sophia grabbed water, then froze, staring at the basement door, at the key in the lock. My heart leaped. Had she guessed? Had she heard Olivia? Sophia took a few steps towards the door, glanced over her shoulder, then, to my astonishment, turned the key and slightly opened the door. Grandma, she whispered. Are you in there? I nearly dropped my phone. How did she know? I quickly hid the phone and stood. Yes, Sophia, I whispered back. I'm here. The door opened wider. Sophia's face, shocked, appeared in the dim light. Grandma, she gasped, coming down. You're really here. Mom told Drake she locked you up, but I thought. I hoped she was kidding. Alas, she wasn't, I said bitterly. Sophia came closer, her face etched with worry and shame. It's terrible. I can't believe she did this. And I can't believe Dad let her. Your father, he's in a difficult situation, I said, reluctant to fully condemn Ethan yet. No, Grandma, Sophia shook her head. Don't make excuses. I heard them talking about sending you to a nursing home. I heard Daddy agree, even if he didn't look happy. I sighed. My granddaughter was sharper than I thought. You're right, dear. And that's not all they did. I paused. They were also taking money from my accounts without permission. Sophia didn't look surprised. I guess something was wrong. Mom's been getting expensive things lately. When I asked, she said it was a lucky investment. Suddenly, Olivia's voice from upstairs. Sophia, where are you? My granddaughter flinched. She mustn't know I'm here, she whispered. She'll be furious. I nodded. Sophia knew Olivia's anger better than I. Go, I said. Pretend you just got water. Sophia hesitated, torn between fear and leaving me. But what about you? I can't just leave you. It's okay, I assured her. I have my phone, I've called Talia. Police will be here soon. Aunt Talia? Sophia's eyes widened. But Mom and Dad said you haven't spoken in years. Long story, I said. I'll tell it later. Go before Olivia comes down. Sophia. Olivia called again, closer, more irritated. Sophia stepped towards the stairs, then turned back. I can't just leave you, she said firmly. It's not right. Police will be here soon, I reminded her. I need you safe. Please, Sophia, go. She wavered, torn. Sophia, where are you? Olivia's voice was almost at the kitchen. Sophia made a decision. I'll come back for you, she whispered. I promise. She ran upstairs, closing the door, but not locking it. I heard her meet Olivia. Where have you been? Olivia demanded. Just getting water, Sophia replied, a hint of Olivia's own deception in her voice. I was thirsty. What took so long? Olivia pressed. Looking for my blue bottle, Sophia quickly said. Pause. Then, Sophia, go to bed. It's late. What about Grandma? Sophia asked. I held my breath. What about Grandma? Olivia's voice turned icy. She's at a friend's, isn't she? When will she be back? Tomorrow, Olivia snapped. Now, go to bed. Footsteps receded. I sighed. Sophia was safe. For now. I checked the cameras. The living room was almost empty. Drake in an armchair, Ethan sprawled on the couch. Olivia emerged from the kitchen annoyed. Everyone's gone. This party was exhausting. You threw it yourself, Ethan mumbled. To maintain my social standing, dear, Olivia rolled her eyes. Oh, we need to let the old woman out of the basement. Drake snorted. Why not leave her for the night? A lesson. Olivia grinned. Tempting, but no. We don't want real complaints. She stretched. I'll go in half an hour. Let her sit. Think about her behavior. Blood rushed to my face. My behavior? Like I was a naughty child, not a 68-year-old woman locked illegally in a basement on her birthday. My phone vibrated. Talia, police on their way. 10 minutes out. Hang in there, Mom. I took a deep breath. Soon. Justice. Suddenly, the basement door opened. Sophia in pajamas, jacket in hand. Grandma, she whispered. They're drinking in the living room. Now's a good time. I hesitated. Talia's plan was to wait for police. But face them now? See their faces? Talia said police soon, I said. Maybe we wait. What if they don't believe us? Sophia argued. What if Mom and Dad convinced them you forgot, or went down yourself, or... She faltered. Not yourself. She was right. Olivia was a master manipulator. Even with my phone, police might see it as a family dispute. You're right, I said firmly. It was time. Sophia helped me up the stairs, supporting me. My heart pounded with fear and resolve. I didn't know their reaction, but I wouldn't stay silent. We stepped into the kitchen, listening. They were still discussing the party, Olivia bragging about her outfit. Ready? Sophia whispered. I nodded, squared my shoulders, and walked into the living room, head held high. Sophia followed, fearful but determined. Silence. Olivia froze, glass halfway to her lips, eyes wide. Ethan straightened, pale. Drake flinched, then composed himself. Mom? Ethan broke the silence, voice shaking. What? I thought you were in the basement. I was, I said calmly. Your wife locked me in there over 3 hours ago. On my birthday. Ethan. Olivia snapped to attention. Eleanor, don't be absurd. No one locked you in. You must have locked yourself in and forgotten. She turned to Sophia. What are you doing? I told you to go to bed. I couldn't leave my grandmother in the cellar, Sophia replied, a new, hard tone in her voice. What you did was awful, Mother. Sophia. Olivia shrieked. Go to your room. No, Sophia said, crossing her arms. I'm staying with Grandma. Olivia stood, eyes flashing. You don't know what you're talking about. Your grandmother's out of her mind. She's confusing reality with fiction. We're just. No more lies, Olivia, I interrupted, pulling out my phone. The game is over. What do you mean? She asked, panic in her voice. I know everything, I said. About your plans to send me to Pine Haven, about you and Drake stealing from my accounts, about you intercepting Talia's letters all these years. Everything. Olivia's face went white, but she composed herself. It's nonsense. Ethan, your mother's completely out of her mind. We should seriously consider professional help. Ethan looked between us, lost. Olivia, maybe we should. Ethan. Olivia snapped. She's clearly not herself. Oh, I'm more than sane, I said, opening the camera app. And I have proof. I turned the screen to them. They saw the kitchen camera footage, Olivia and Drake discussing getting rid of me, taking my money. What the hell was that? Olivia shrieked. Were you spying? Put cameras in our house. My house, I corrected. The house I bought with my money. Yes, I installed cameras after my things went missing. Arthur's earrings, my mother's brooch, my journal. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Drake spoke, deceptively calm. Eleanor, you're wrong. We discussed transferring you for your health. Finances were legal, with your consent. My consent. I laughed bitterly. You mean those forged signatures? I showed them a screenshot of the forged document. That's not my signature, Drake, and you know it. His confidence faltered. Ethan signed for you with your verbal consent. Standard practice. Liar. I said calmly. I never consented, and Ethan knows it. I turned to my son, now chalk white. Tell me, son, did you really think I wouldn't find out? That I'd let you send me to Pine Haven, sell my house, and embezzle my money? Ethan lowered his head. I thought it was best. You need supervision, and Olivia and I can't. Don't lie. I interrupted. You weren't thinking of me. You were thinking of money. The $320,000 you'd get from the house. The boat you wanted. Sophia's eyes widened. Dad, is it true? Ethan didn't answer, shoulders slumping in shame. Olivia wouldn't give up. It's all lies, she insisted, less confidently. You can't prove anything. Recordings can be faked. Who'd believe a senile old woman over 3 respectable adults? I will. A voice from the front door. We all turned. Talia stood there, with a uniformed police officer and a stern man I assumed was the lawyer, Adam Miller. Talia? Ethan gasped. What are you doing here? Saving our mother from the 3 of you, she said coldly. Then, a warm smile for me. Mom, are you okay? I nodded, relief washing over me. I am now. Olivia quickly put on a fake smile. Talia, what a surprise. We didn't expect you after all these years. I'm sure you didn't, Talia replied dryly. Especially since you've been intercepting my letters and calls. She turned to the officer. Officer Ramirez, this is my mother, Eleanor Vance. She was illegally locked in the basement by these 3. And there's financial fraud with documentary evidence. The officer nodded, stepping forward. Mrs. Vance, do you wish to press charges? Yes, I said firmly. I do. Olivia's face twisted in rage. This is ridiculous. You can't just barge into our house and… It's not your house, Adam Miller interrupted. According to deeds I've examined, this house was bought with Mrs. Eleanor Vance's money, though technically in her son's name. Given the circumstances and fraud evidence, ownership may be challenged. He pulled documents from his briefcase. This is a temporary restraining order prohibiting anyone but Mrs. Vance from accessing her finances. Also, an order to preserve all related documents. Any attempt to destroy them is obstruction of justice. Drake, who'd been calm, turned pale. You can't do that. This investment was with full consent. Consent obtained by fraud, Mr. Campbell. Adam cut him off. Or using forged signatures. Serious violation. I'm sure the SEC will be interested. Drake turned greenish. Officer Ramirez stepped closer. Mr. Campbell, I have questions regarding financial fraud and elder abuse. You have the right to remain silent. As the officer read Drake his rights, I watched Olivia and Ethan. Olivia looked like her world was collapsing. Which it was. Her plan to steal my money was crumbling. Ethan looked devastated, head down, unable to meet my gaze, or Talia's or Sophia's, whose eyes were filled with disappointment. How could you, Papa? Sophia asked quietly. How could you do that to Grandma? Ethan looked up, eyes full of tears. I didn't know. I didn't realize it would go this far. Olivia said Mom would be happier in an institution, that she needed care. Don't put this on me. Olivia snapped. You knew exactly what was going on. You signed documents, took the money, agreed to sell the house, because you gave me no choice. Ethan yelled, raising his voice at his wife for the first time. You said if we didn't, we'd lose the house, couldn't pay for Sophia's college. That's enough. Olivia interrupted. Don't you dare blame me. You were happy to spend your mother's money on a new car, planning to buy a boat. They bickered, years of resentment erupting. I stopped listening. I looked at Talia, who took my hand. Let's go, Mom, she said softly. You don't need to hear this. I'm taking you home. Home? I asked, suddenly lost. To me, Talia clarified. To Ryan and me and little Arthur. He's so excited to see you. At the mention of a grandson I'd never met, my heart swelled. Does he really know about me? Of course, Talia smiled. I told him about you every day. Shown him pictures. He calls you Grandma Ellie, asks when you're coming. Tears streamed, not of bitterness, but hope. I still had a family. A real family. Sophia approached, worried. What about me? Can I visit Grandma too? Talia smiled, putting an arm around her niece. Of course, sweetheart. Always welcome. Your cousin will be happy to meet you. Sophia smiled weakly, eyes still worried. What will happen to Mommy and Daddy? Talia sighed. Depends on many factors. Court, their cooperation. But you won't be alone. We'll help you. Officer Ramirez led Drake away, devastated. Olivia and Ethan still argued, voices rising. Let's go, Talia urged, taking my arm. Officer Ramirez will contact us tomorrow. You need rest. I nodded, suddenly exhausted. This day, which began so bitterly, ended with a glimmer of hope. I glanced at Ethan. Our eyes met. In his gaze, shame, remorse, and the realization he'd lost something far more precious than money, his mother's trust and love. Come on, Mom, Talia repeated, gently guiding me. I let my daughter lead me from a home that was never truly mine, towards a new life with a family who truly loved me. My freedom. My family. My future. 2 months later, I sat on Talia's veranda, watching little Arthur play in the garden. He looked just like his grandfather, the same blue eyes, the same smile that squeezed my heart. Next to me was Ryan, Talia's husband, kind, thoughtful, nothing like the slacker Ethan described. He was a musician, yes, but also a respected art school teacher, with a steady job and a talent I now appreciated. Talia came out with tea. How are you feeling, Mom? She asked. Better, I said honestly. Better every day. It was true. The first weeks were hard. Nightmares, anxiety, feeling like a stranger in their house. But Talia, Ryan, and little Arthur enveloped me in such care, I gradually felt at home. The legal process continued. Drake was arrested for fraud. I wasn't his only victim. Olivia was charged with fraud, accessory, and elder abuse. Ethan faced lighter charges, given his cooperation and guilty plea. Attorney Adam Miller worked to recover my money, successfully. The trial for the Willow Creek house was ongoing, but prospects were good, given my principal payment and Ethan's testimony. Sophia lived with us now, temporarily. After Olivia's arrest and Ethan's divorce filing, it was decided Sophia was better off here. She was adjusting to a new life, school, relatives. Sometimes I'd hear her crying at night, and I'd sit with her, holding her hand, reminding her she wasn't to blame for her parents' actions. Talia helped me regain financial independence. I opened new accounts, accessible only to me. She helped me write a new will and a power of attorney for her, a real one, with my real signature. There's another letter from Ethan, Talia said. Want to read it? I hesitated. Ethan had written weekly since I left. Long, remorseful letters, explaining how Olivia manipulated him, how fear of losing his home and Sophia's future clouded his judgment. He asked for forgiveness, but didn't insist, knowing some things aren't easily forgiven. Yes, I said finally. I'll read it. Talia handed me the envelope, stepping back to Arthur, giving me space. I opened it, recognizing his handwriting. I don't know if I can ever fully forgive him. I don't know if we can rebuild even a shadow of our relationship, poisoned by greed and manipulation. But I knew one thing. I would no longer let fear and doubt control my life. I would no longer be a silent victim. At 68, I was beginning a new chapter. With the daughter I'd reconnected with, the grandson I was just getting to know, the granddaughter I was protecting from her parents' mistakes. It wasn't the autumn of life I'd envisioned, but perhaps it was exactly what I needed. As I watched Arthur play, and Talia gently hold Ryan, and Sophia smile more each day, I realized true wealth wasn't in bank accounts or houses. It's in these moments, these connections, this love that no one can steal.